Mark Brown, you like doing the thing, right?
Yeah, I like.
Just do the thing.
I like when she talks.
Just
to me.
do the thing, man.
Alexa, let's do it.
Hang on 1 second, I'm texting my crew to tell them to listen. I swear Mark Brown is a real savage. The Bear's Den is now live.
Wait, Alexa got a crew? Welcome to another edition of
The Bear's Den.
The one and only Bear's Den.
Oh,
Yours truly, MJ.
We're hyped up off of coffee right now,
and
so
we got Mark Brown.
we got a little energy today.
Dude.
Oh man, and Brendan is not here.
He's not
somewhere being a savage.
No, he's not here.
He's somewhere enjoying his 20s as he should be.
I don't know what the deal. Yeah, he is actually. He's enjoying his life.
He's enjoying his life, as we all should. As we
all should enjoy our life.
How you doing, Lone Wolf? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm digging like coming into the den a lot, man. This is like makes me start thinking.
Yeah, makes you start thinking the vibe.
Good vibes is here. You know what I'm saying? So, I wanted to do a show today about a very interesting topic. I'm gonna talk about him since I wish he was here, but I couldn't wait to talk about it. So maybe this is part one. Part two is maybe he gets a chance to kind of like tell us about himself, right? Meaning defend himself in whatever regard I'm about to talk about him, which is not bad. I had a conversation with producer B. He's on spring break 2 days ago. I don't know. First of all, if I'm on spring break, I'm not calling
Absolutely not
any of y'all. But that's something that you learn with time, right? Yeah. Anyway, so I said, "What's wrong, man? You're not having a good time." He goes, "Man, dude, I'm just all the time, man. It's just, whatever." I was like, "What do you mean?" He goes, there's just I got a lot of fear, right? I said, "Producer B, what do you have to be scared of?" And this is what the show's about. The show's about like really like what makes you scared? And I'm not talking about like a roach, or I'm not talking about a spider. Well, maybe I am, because I hate spiders, and but not that kind of fear. That's a whole different kind of like you can overcome that. You know what I mean? Especially if. Well, maybe you can't, but, some people can overcome that. I'm talking about the real shit that paralyzes you. Yeah. Like, so I said, why are you scared, right? This is the weirdest fucking answer I would ever get out of a 21-year-old. Or maybe it's not 22, my bad. Maybe it's not. But he goes, "I'm scared of death." I said, that's not going to happen for a minute, right? Yeah. So why are you scared of death? Like, what is it? Like, and that's, when you get to the point where you start realizing your own mortality, for him, it just happened. Like, it happened to me some years ago. I wasn't in my 20s. My 20s, I was indestructible. Kind of like how I am now in my coffee. Like, right? But it happened to me a little bit later. But, I somehow, I can't say that because I haven't experienced it yet. But I've overcome the thoughts of the fear running my life, if that makes any sense. And what I mean by that is, so I said, "What do you have to fear of?" He said, "Death." I said, "Well, what got you this way?" He goes, "It was the weed, man." I was like, "Weed?" Yeah. Because he said, "Well, it's really tough, smoking weed, brain development."
Is he saying like that he smokes now or from the past?
No, from the past.
An experience he had in the past?
No, he smoked a lot of pot.
What kind of pot was he smoking?
The weed that kids his age are not supposed to smoke. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
So he'd been laced with something.
No, it wasn't laced. But it's just like, his whole thing is like, brain development in children. He gets real analytical with it, right? Yeah. I was like, that's true, but shut up. Like, let's talk about, like, you haven't been smoking for a long time. Yes. And, so, like, what is it, right? And that's why I was like, let's talk about that today. Like, what is it that scares the shit out of you, right? And the more I thought about it, like, I woke up this morning before my daughter woke up, right? Because I normally, like, go in, you open her door, start getting noise so she can wake up. And she wasn't waking up, right? So then, like, next step is, like, I'm about to just pile drive you on the bed, like, get up, right? So I went in, and right before I decided to start waking her up, for a second, I just took a minute and just watched her sleep, right? And it's just like my biggest fear is not being able for her to be able to do this all her life. sleep that soundly. No matter if it's with me or without me, right?
Yeah.
If it's without me, she's built it. I did, I've done what I had to do, right? Shit, I might tear up on this because it really like scares the shit out of me. But then it's like, I also want, like, should you ever run into anything, you feel like this about the boys, right? I got a place that you could come to, right? And that scares me, right? And you know what? It's not death that scares me. Like, Brendan's got some other shit going on with death. I don't know if it's just.
I think your perspective with death, because he's so young, it changes as you get older. As you're young, you're like, I don't want to die. As you get older, it's like, I don't want to die out of fear of missing things with your daughter,
right?
Missing weddings and the birth of her having a child.
Yeah,
so that kind of fear, yeah.
So then I followed this, like, and I went through this whole thing, man, where it's like, I went through a phase where I felt like Brendan did, and then I started understanding a little bit more. I started following, like, and there's something weird about when you get older. Like, spiritual shit takes over. I ain't talking about.
Starts talking to you.
I ain't talking about religion, man. It's like you just start like,
this
shit is weird. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying?
I've seen this before.
So it's like a deja vu in a movie, and it's like I started following this guy. This spiritual leader. His name's Ram Dass. He passed away a few years ago, I think in 2019. But anyway. And I started, like, I was obsessed with him, man. I remember when Rex was born, I'd just wake up in the middle of the night, just watch all this stuff, right? And he talks about death a lot. And how, he said, death is perfectly safe, which is true.
Yeah.
You're going to die.
Yeah.
Like, it's safe. Like, don't worry about it. Am I going to die? Yes. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to happen. I remember I talked to a psychologist I was going through it, man. And he's like, okay, so if you die today, then what? So I'm dead.
Yeah.
You want to pay me now, or you want to keep going?
Keep going. Yeah.
So, and it made me think, and I'm starting to think, looking at this young kid, going like, "Listen, man, like it's whatever you're thinking, it's inevitable. It's just gonna happen." I said that's the easy part, the fear of death and whatever. I said the hard part is to live now, right? So to start to show off. What fear is? Why do we get scared? Is the question.
I think we get scared of the unknown. You know what I mean? Like, the unknown scares us. You and I talk about, you were talking about Ram Dass, like, we talk about the guy Alan Watts a lot, right?
Yeah.
And I remember him saying, if you really, really want to change your life, you can't know the outcome. It's like, to live a predictable life is a life that you're going to live the same because you've already lived it before, right?
Yeah.
So I think, like, and when I heard that, I was like, man, it's like some things you hear in life, it just kind of strike a chord with you. I think it's the fear of the unknown, right? It's the denial of fear, like you were saying, like with Brendan. Like, as you get older, you accept that I'm going to die. But the fears that we have as we get older, even though it might not be like the ones that Brendan's having, it's like, I want to be there for my son's, marriage or him graduating college. I fear missing out on that because we know we're going to die. Yeah. And I always tell my boys now, like one of my sons, he was saying, I was like, man, we play a lot of baseball. We play all-stars, it's 7U, but as a kid, you might feel a certain kind of, I was like, what's going on, man? He's like, Dad, I feel a lot of pressure, right? I was like, man, you don't have to feel like pressure. You 7 years old, what are we talking about pressure?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I tell him, I was like, it's okay to have that feeling, right? If you're okay with having that feeling of like fear, knowing that it's not a bad thing to fear things, when you think it's something bad, then I think it creates more fear. It paralyzes you. Do you think it's instinctual? Like, do you think fear is, because, a lot of people say, like, the reptilian brain, right? Like, our job is to survive, right? To, basically to breathe, eat, and reproduce, right? That's what we're into, to survive. Yeah. Basically, I'm not gonna kill myself unless you're a rat. Yeah.
Weird shit. Rats will
gnaw themselves. Yeah.
Rodents. That's like some next level of loyalty. Check out that episode on loyalty. But anyway, so like my whole thing is it something that we teach our kids, right? And is it something that we learn, right?
I think it's something that we teach.
And the paralyzation of it that happens, like, why would your son think, and how would he identify, or how would he know what pressure is?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's seen something to watch on TV, YouTube. And
has he seen you do hard shit? Has he seen
me do hard stuff before?
Has he seen you endure?
Yeah, he feels the intensity. Like, kids are very aware, they're hyper aware, right? So they feel adults' intensity or adults like their energy. Like if you're like, oh, we got to get this done, but you're not saying it, but your emotions and energy saying it, they feel it. So he fears like letting somebody down, or you know what I mean, like that kind of fear. And I always try to teach them that, like, I tell them daddy's scared all the time. I was like, you don't think daddy is scared? I was like, yeah, I'm scared of different things. I'm scared of not being able to pay the mortgage and stuff like that. But, like, you got to accept it. When you embrace the fear, then it's not going to paralyze you. The paralyzation comes from when I'm in denial, right? It's not that. That's what stops you. That's what holds you back.
What do you mean in denial? Like,
denial
is what? Like
denying like that. In denial, like
I can't? Or?
I can't do it, right? If you accept that it's okay to be scared and then to not reject it, then you can move through it, right? I think fear is I think our mindset around fear is bad, right? We should think of fear as a good thing, because what does fear do? It makes you hyper aware. It makes your senses aware. Like, if you're fearful of something, think about you ever been really, I mean, like scared, yeah, right? You can hear a pin drop. You like Bionic Man, like you're locked in, right? Yeah. So if we looked at fear from that point, that it was a positive thing, it wouldn't paralyze us so much, right? You gotta teach it from a young age. I think you have to teach it from a young age. I'll tell a funny story, man. Talk about, like, it's not about like being scared of snakes and da da da. But I have a funny story.
But he is.
I'm horrified of snakes, right? I'm extremely horrified. So I'm from Patterson, New Jersey, right? We have some rats. We got some rats out in the inner city, but we don't have. I've never had
me at rats.
We don't have snakes. So I lived in New Jersey, in the inner city of Patterson, New Jersey, from when I was born to when I was about 7. Then we moved down to Georgia. You know, Georgia is a different kind of. You got different animals, right? And I remember going around out the house one day to take the trash out at like 8 years old. And I moved the trash can, and I pull it back. I mean, this long, like 10-foot long black snake slithers out. And I'm like, whoa! Yeah. Like, what is that? Yeah. I'm 8 years old, so I've already formed my fear. So, like,
already out. See ya.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm so scared. And I say it to say, like, your fear is taught at a young age, right? You got people that can't swim. That's a cultural thing in some places. You probably swim at an early age because you're from the Caribbean.
I tell you, man. No, I actually funny. I had a bad experience with swimming when I was a kid. Like, I wasn't one of those kids that knew. I learned how to swim later in life.
Yeah.
My father.
Isn't the idea around water a little bit different from in the islands? Because, like, the islands is like you're surrounded by water. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but most people. I tell you a funny real talk. Like, you go like where I'm from. Most black people can't swim.
Yeah,
real talk.
Absolutely.
And they grew up on an island.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. That's funny though. That's not funny, but it's ironic.
You know, it's weird, man. I remember listen. It's so funny how the program is ingrained too. Because if I walk you through it right now, I'm happy. Like, it's almost like this Matrix shit is real, man. It's almost like if I describe it to you, it's almost like the world in front of me just goes to that place. I'll never forget, man. I was a kid, probably, I don't know, 5, 6 years old. And my father wanted me to get in the water with him. I was freaked out, bro. Mm-hmm. And he wouldn't let me down. And he took me all the way out. And I was like, I'm done. That's it.
Yeah.
Life.
Yes.
I saw life.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Over and over again. And that took me away from that. I just think he did it wrong. You know what I mean? Like, anytime my kids tell me no or they feel uncomfortable, I let it go. Right? Unless it's some shit that I'm like, listen, it's done. Like, fuck.
Come on, man, we going.
Deal with this, right? Yeah. And even at that point, I don't even try to force it. So my whole thing is, you know, it's definitely instilled, and I mean, to your point. Anyway, go ahead. So we were saying about your rats. Your snake.
No,
your snake.
I saw the snake, and it scared me, right? And then as later on in life, you know, I started getting tattoos, whatever, and I always been taught to how you overcome your fears is you face your fears, right? Yeah. So I have like a snake tattoo on my arm. The biggest thing I'm scared of. I'm still like, you think the black bear is scared of snakes?
I think bears are scared of snakes.
Oh
period.
My God! See a bear climb a tree.
I think that's hey, Cheetah, what you doing up here?
Yeah, man. I was just saying it to say, like, you know, I'm still like, we talked about it before about stuff like that, about having like a snake handler or something that goes skydiving if you're scared of heights. We need to do that episode.
I thought about that. I thought about that real quick, and I was like, you know, maybe we should incorporate it into this episode. I was like, no, I think I'm good.
No.
I don't think I'm ready for it yet.
I think our fear is just not knowing the outcome of something, right?
Yeah.
That's the biggest thing. When you don't know the outcome, you're just scared, but it's like, oh my God, like, what if but another thing to that is, like, as a kid, if you teach your kids to say, you tell them to go, you know, a lot of parents say, be careful, right? So you program yourself to be careful. If you change and say, be great, you know what I mean? Instead of saying me, I say it all the time, like, man, why don't I ever say go be great? Or instead of you going downstairs, be careful. You know what I mean? Like, if you fall, it's gonna be okay. I think, like, it's just instilled in us. We're programming ourselves. It's the Matrix, right? We're hearing something and we're regurgitating over and over again.
your fear is there's uncertainty in it too, right? Which I think is really what really causes it. Like you said, like what's going to happen next, right? But another way to look at it, man, it's crazy because I actually just went through this last night. So I don't know about you. Everybody experiences things differently, right? But for me, when I have fear, right, like there's a feeling inside you because obviously your body reacts to it. Your biology reacts to it. You excrete adrenaline and everything else. And you feel jolty and jittery. Your heart rate speeds up. Like it's just a weird feel. Like you're ready to go, right? It's just like you said, everything gets honed in, right? Yeah. But I don't know if you ever noticed that when you're excited, you can get into that zone too as well, right? You know, shit, man, we dudes, man, think about the first time, you know, first kiss or whatever. Oh, shit, I'm about to kiss. So I'm about to touch. I'm about to first. You get that feeling, right? So, so I saw this quote one time, man, and the shit was so true. It said, all fear is excitement without the breath. Yeah. Right? That's all it is, right? You know, you know what I mean? Yeah. Versus you're excited, like you can still breathe. Like, oh my God. But it's really, even when you're excited, you can't breathe, right? So last night, this is one thing that's learned. So I get, you know me, man. I get blood tests done on myself. I'm a living lab rat, right? So my results came in. Bing, I see the email, right? Automatically, bro, my heart rate increased. The minute I saw that shit, because it's weird how you think, right? This fucking matrix programming shit's got me so fucked up that I got 10 million thoughts that just went through my head just by seeing that email. What if shit's fucked up? What's going to happen to the kids? I don't want to go through any kind of therapy. My father went through some fucked up shit. I can't. But you know what I'm saying? Everything, right? And then I
could get a medical card if something's really wrong.
Lord, that's the best that could come out of this, right? Mark Brown. So then I opened the shit and it's like whatever, like literally the shit said here's how we're fucked up, right? And here's how fear can just grab a hold of you, right? The shit said, I remember seeing whatever you're doing is amazing, keep it up, right? But then it said they do like 48 biomarkers on you, right? They check like a whole bunch of shit, right? And out of the 48, they said 9 needs working on, right? My brain went to that. What is it that I need to work on? Am I fucked up? Are the kids gonna die? Are they gonna be daddyless? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? And it was like simple shit like, yo, you need a little bit more magnesium, or like one thing was 1 point off. Like I just got so embedded into the thoughts, right? Yeah. So it's like, how do you kill the thoughts?
I think you can't hype yourself up. You can't
hype yourself up.
I'm saying you can't like
as I drink coffee.
No, but you can't create like something. You can't create a story that's not there. You can't build it up in your head to be so bad, and that's what we do.
Why?
We build it that's gonna be so bad.
Why?
Why can't you do that?
No, why do you build up the fucking stories?
It's the fear, man. And think about it in life. Anything you ever stressed out about and that you were really fearful about in that moment, right? Think about how you felt about that same situation 6 months, 8 months down the road. You look back at it, you're like, it wasn't that bad. But in the moment, we build up the story in our head. We build up, this is going to kill me. This is going to be way worse than it really is going to be. Or somebody doesn't like me or just thinks of me. And it's not that big of a deal.
Bro, I
think we get in our own thoughts, man, and we just make this balloon effect.
I'll give you. So,
where it's like it's funny.
You talk about 50-year-old shit. Like I get caught up in the shit with health all the time. And I build up shit. And then motherfuckers are like my wife does this shit all the time. I come in, she go, you get your blood test back? Yeah. You all right? Yeah. Have a drink, motherfucker.
Yeah, relax.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But it's just, I think it's just I don't know, it's the fact that we care, we love so much. One of the things that I work on, in the spiritual sense as I get older, is the clinging of the mind, right? They talk about that. You cling to something. That fucks you up. Like when you really hold on to some shit, right? I'm not talking about bad shit, good stuff. Like somebody passing away in a way to you. You just, not to judge him. I'm not judging him, but I see his story and I know how much he misses it, how much he loves it. Take somebody like Kanye West, right? Yeah. And I don't know this man. I've never met him, but from what I see, he still hurts from his mom passing, right? Yeah. That's clinging. That's the clinging of the mind, right? And, the thought is to let it go. But, shit, knock on wood, man. Like, think about it. Thinking you're going to lose all of this. I'm not talking material. I'm talking about, like, things that you love. Your kids, your wife, you're gonna leave this place one day.
It's over.
Bro, that's real as shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
It shakes you.
Yeah, it does.
It paralyzes me to a degree.
It just means like you go back to saying you care. You know what I mean? You care about being here for I think it's more so like, I don't think some people might, look at death from a selfish reason. I think a lot of people, I know myself, I look at death from like, I'm going to be missing out from like my kids, or like not so much that I'm going to die, but I'm not going to be here for them. Be here for the people that I love. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, how do they deal with that? How do they go on?
They'd be all right.
Yeah. Yo, did his life insurance come through? All right. Check the count.
Chan, we good. Yeah. We gonna do the party tonight.
Yeah, man. I mean, like it does. Like when you really think about it, it's the finality of it. Like it's over. Like you gone. Like
I mean, it's like Steve Jobs said at one point. Like he doesn't really have a. Well, now he does, because motherfuckers ask for this shit, right? But Steve Jobs has always said, like, on his machines, and never really, and back in the day when you really looked at him, he never really had an on-off switch on him. Because he never thought that life is just off and it's done. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think it's done, quoting Ram Dass again. He always said, it's going to be like a show of quotes. My life is a show of quotes. But, it's the excitement of, and I agree with him. I'm not excited about, like, I'm not looking forward to death. Shit, God, please, like, let me just go to sleep.
Yeah.
And he gone.
Not a pain, just let me burn up. Don't let me drown.
Stabbed to death, shot. It's just like,
nothing where I got to suffer.
Two things I'm good
Let
with.
it be a light switch.
Yeah.
You gone.
You know what I'm saying? Like, real.
Oh, man.
I gotta stop, man. Like this is what makes death fun, man. But strike that. It's not fun. But like, I don't want to do that, right? But I'm excited about like what happens after that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like what's the next?
The next evolution, the next step, next phase.
As long as it's not a joke you bring back as a cockroach.
Yeah.
That ain't funny.
To me, man, I feel like.
Oh, that was so funny. I'm crying.
I'm really big on like energies and we just speaking to death. We kind of got off, but just to address death, I'm really big on like energy, right? The universal energy.
Yeah.
I feel like we all operate. Different people operate at different frequencies. Speaking to people that have on the spectrum of autism, sometimes they just hyper. They're really good at one thing, and it's like crazy, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we're all energy and our bodies are just vessels. So when we die, that's why when you pass away and your kids may say, I still feel dead, like your energy is always going to be, your energy is in the universe. And I think that our perspective on death, when we look at death, like we're looking at, okay, this is gone. Like my looks, how I look, I'm gone. But I think your energy is going to be here. You know what I mean? I think when we change our perspective on death, we start doing more research and start being more open to it. It's nothing to be scared of. It's the part of life. It's going to happen. Going to accepting it and not fearing, not fighting it.
I get that. But there's still a part of you, whether it's your biology or whoever, you know what I mean, that still draws into this alternate reality that just shit is going to be fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you draw to some kind of whatever. Now, I don't know if that's, like, it gets into science at this point, because I actually tried reading The Theory of Relativity one point with Stephen Hawking. I epically failed after chapter 2.5. I tried to be smart. My wife was like, we should get library cards. I was like, yeah. I was like, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it, right?
Yeah, let's go.
So, I got my little wallet with the library card.
Yeah, get you a buck.
I said, I'm going to go get some good shit. So I was, somebody other, Stephen Hawkins came across a feed about, so I'm going to read some shit about him.
Yeah.
And I picked the shit up. And I think it was like a Thursday or some shit. I had checked it out. I checked that bitch back in on a Friday. I didn't understand shit. But anyway, but to a degree I did, right? And which says that in your life, you have doors in front of you, right? Options, right? And those doors are opportunities. And I guess those are the thoughts. And wherever that thought is going is where you really could open a door and go. Like the option of their parallel universe is like, there's a, like in an infinite universe, this shit gonna get wild. But
are you ready?
In quantum physics says that there are different universes of Mark Browns, right? There's Mark Brown that and Mike Johnson now, right? But there's also like a Mark Brown who's the president of the United States,
I want to meet him.
Right?
Get wild.
No, I'm just
getting wild in the White House.
Infinite possibilities,
yeah.
infinite realms of, and what dictates that is the thought process, right? Like if you wanted to be president, you could be president, right?
Yeah.
But it ain't gonna happen.
It ain't gonna happen because I don't want to be president. Yeah.
But no, I'm not saying that as far as you can't be. But so with that, there's that thought like I could do it, and then there's the fear of it. I can't do it, right? And I don't understand why. To get to the point, I went around the fucking track to get to this point. Why do we always go to that area of doubt and fear instinctually, which is what I started with in the first place, this conversation, right? Why does that happen?
I think it's just human nature. I think it's what's ingrained in us. It's like, why does somebody worry so much? Yeah. No, I don't. I think so because some things aren't taught. Some emotions aren't taught. Take my wife for instance, right? My wife is a worrier. Right, if we got to be able to leave the house to be at a baseball game, we got to leave by 1:30. At 1:15, 1:10, she said we got to go out the door. I'm like, and me, I'm walking around. I'm always late. You know me, I'm always late.
Yeah, Mark Brown says 9:30. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, you could be at
9:50, 10 o'clock.
But like, I think that's an emotion that's just like how we're wired. I don't know. I think sometimes it's just how you wired. You know what I mean? How you process that feeling is what changes us, and it's just how you wired, man.
So.
There's things you can do to change that, obviously.
Right.
You know what I mean?
So, and then my whole thing is, but when you ingrain those that highway in your brain, right? So you make that pathway, right? That dirt road to saying like, I'm scared. Then there are people like, I don't know the guy's name. He was on Netflix. He's this guy that climbs like all these mountains, and he climbed this mountain like free
solo.
Free solo. Yeah, free solo, right? So they did. So let me ask you this: if your ass was hanging off that mountain with one fucking hand, how you feeling? You as Mark Brown?
I'm paralyzed. It's over.
Right?
It's over. It's
like
over.
Crying.
My hands slipping off. I think about that when I watch those shows, man. I'm like, there's no way.
So they did a thing with him, right? Where
his brain, and it connected,
shit didn't move.
Yeah. It's a certain part of your brain that produces fear, and it was no activity.
Right?
Yeah.
Carve my shit out, please. Yeah. If I go to a doctor, you carve my shit out, I'll be good, right? And so there was and there are a couple people like that, right? There's another study. There's this thing about your breath and carbon dioxide, right? And if you get too much of it in your blood, if you get too much carbon dioxide intake, period, like it gives you you feel like you're suffocating.
Yeah.
Right. And there was this test study done on this female that had that same type of like no reaction in the brain, like gunpoint, whatever, like heartbeat 54 beats a minute, like nothing. You're gonna shoot me, okay. All right, yeah. They did this study on them, right? Which goes back to what I'm saying: is it taught or is it instinctual, right? They introduced some carbon dioxide into a breathing apparatus that she had on, right? For the first time, within seconds, you saw her reaction.
Yeah.
She experienced fear for the very first time, right? It was something biological that did that, right? But in other circumstances, it's not affected. So it goes back to the program, like how are we taught, right? And how do we get rid of shit? And how do you unprogram yourself to not really, like, we say this shit like no fear. Fuck that. You're scared, bro.
Yeah,
you're scared of something.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, everybody's scared of something.
But could you untrain that?
I think you could. It's putting yourself
especially in the places where it's necessary.
You have to immerse yourself in the places that you're scared of, right? If you're scared of snakes, you got to be around snakes. If you're scared of social awkwardness, you got to put yourself in social environments where the repetitiveness of being in it convinces yourself that it's not anything to fear. Those stories in your head calm down. I think you got to immerse yourself in it in order to become in anything. If it's physical, if it's mental, you got to immerse yourself in it, and then that fear goes away.
Okay, so then I'm gonna throw a wrench into it, right? But sometimes fear is a necessary evil, though.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I got a fear of not being broke.
Oh yeah.
Or being broke.
Yeah.
I don't have that fear. I got a fear of being broke. So due to that fear, bro, I work my ass off to make sure.
Yeah, that's not even a
That's
question.
not even that's what? I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Uh-huh.
Appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
You know what I mean? To that point. I mean, I'm not. That's not a brag. It's an actual, like, I have that mentality because of the fear.
Yeah, and it drives you.
So the question is, if I eliminate the fear, am I gonna be broke?
No, I don't.
Am I gonna erase the?
You wouldn't be broke, but I think your work ethic changes. Like you said, it's a necessary evil. It's a necessary thing to have fear. Like if some people that play sports, they fear of losing their job. Like that's what drives them to work in the off season. Those kind of fears, I think.
What do you mean it drives them to work?
Drives them to like keep working, to train, like to make sure, because they know the guy behind us coming to take their job. So you got to stay on top of your game, right? That fear of, I can get beat out or I can have my livelihood change because somebody else is working harder than me, right? That's the fear you're talking about. The fear of losing money. I don't want to be broke, so that's driving me, right? So those kind of things are good fears to have. Anything that pushes you in a positive way is a good fear to have. Now, if fear makes you kind of curl up and you don't do anything, then that's a bad fear. I think some fears are positive. You need some fears. You got to have some fears, man. Every fear is not a bad fear.
I obsess about it though.
Yeah, you do a little bit. You gotten better.
Really
You gotten better.
I mean, I have gotten better. I haven't, I don't really care much.
Yeah. Give a fuck.
I mean, lately I don't.
That comes with age, I think, right? You're getting older. You just you don't have a whole bunch of time in your day. You can't dedicate time to worrying about stuff that you can't really control.
No, I mean, but that's always been the case.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know if the fear is like the fire under my ass or if it's I don't know. I think to a degree at times though it does. I obsess over it so much. Kind of like Brendan. This conversation was all about Brendan to start.
Uh-huh.
But I think he obsesses over it to the point where it could paralyze him, where it could be a little bit more detrimental, to you than it is doing you any good.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's a bad perspective on it.
He knows about this, and, I'll say it on his behalf. I mean, I don't think he'd care, but, I mean, he, because of his anxiety, he takes other things, right?
Uh-huh.
I mean, he said, it was a weed, so I'm going to take something else, right? And because you're not willing to just, overcome the fear of that, or at least accept the shit. I'm not saying, you don't know what, none of us knows what death is like. We've all painted this picture, right? Hollywood has helped us do that a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Dying is going to be like they always say, a heart attack is a motherfucker does this.
Yeah.
And you talk to a couple other people, and they'll tell you, a heart attack is not that. I had a heart attack, and I was partying, didn't even know it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
What do you mean? No, you don't even understand. I mean, to a degree, some of the shit I'm pretty sure Hollywood has exaggerated.
Yeah.
But if you get past that, man, I think you sit a little bit more into that discomfort level and just hey, well, didn't happen today.
Yeah.
It may happen tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
And if it does, I mean, I did everything that I could.
Did everything I could.
Yeah.
And
if that self-actualization of you thinking this is me talking to you, Mark Brown. Candace ain't gonna take care of those kids.
Uh-huh.
Shit, you mistaken. She gonna take care of them.
Yeah.
They gonna be all right.
Yeah.
It's just our ego gets so involved in the shit. And I'm not saying that you're paralyzed on it. I'm saying if you did.
Uh-huh.
Me saying shit. I mean, Mrs. Johnson's gonna be all right.
Yeah, she'd be okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shit, she's all
right. All
right.
the checks cleared.
Shit, at the end of the day, she always sends me away anyway. You should go away.
Get out of here.
I'm
Get
taking
out
the
of
kids
here.
wherever. But
Yeah.
no, I mean, just kidding about that. But my whole thing is just as we, we talk about the shit all the time, and everybody approaches you all the time about the workout stuff and my goal and whatever. What the fuck are you scared of? What? I'm not saying why I need Mark Browns of the world. You always need the inspirations of the world. But sometimes when I'm with you, I see somebody, I just want to look at this and what the fuck are you scared? Just go fucking do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, it's not that easy. No, it's not easy.
Uh-huh.
It's supposed to be hard and piss you off.
Yeah, yeah. But you know what's funny about that? You saying that is how some people can do hard things. I can do hard things and I can be aware that it's gonna hurt. It's supposed to be hard. It ain't supposed to be easy. But you put me in another thing where it's oh, you got to do this task. And it's not a physical task, but it's a mental task. Maybe something at work or a project you're working on.
Man, you ain't a computer.
Yeah, I'm not a computer. What? You can do what? You know what? How do you transfer this mic? You know what I mean? But it doesn't translate. It's how can you be so, something that's so painful and so hard, but then when you got to do something mental, it's you know what I mean? I don't know that. I don't know the answer to that. I know that's in me. You know what I mean?
I'm saying though, like I think part of it is like it's the like fuck, man. I'm really starting to, anybody that I've ever questioned about like what does trust the process mean, I'm starting to now understand it, right? Because I'm starting to understand the appreciation of the failure. I'm starting to understand the appreciation of the craft, right? Fuck what comes after that. I'm starting to see what comes after that. Yeah, you get fruit from it, you know, but excuse me, I'm so hyped today. It's the coffee.
It's the coffee, man.
But, you know, I'm starting to see what the fruit is from it, right? But I'm starting to really like dig down and like, fuck, man, this is gonna suck. I think I might like it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I want to get dirty for a minute. I think I want to hurt for a little bit and really understand it, right? And then you see the rewards of the resiliency that you get from enduring the bullshit, right?
Yeah.
Like, I really want to get to the point, man, where it's like, the shit just can't faze me. Now, I don't mean that I don't appreciate, I don't feel life, because I think the life portion of feeling it is like the jitters of like, oh shit, my blood work came in, yeah, the shit could be bad, I don't need to think that, but oh shit, let me see all the good shit I really did.
Yeah.
So let me see how I crush this motherfucker.
Yeah, not worried about the one thing I need to work on.
Just take the fucking, get some magnesium, man, eat some more fruits.
Yeah, banana.
Yeah, a couple more than you normally do, right? Do something, but it's the 99% of the shit that you fear or you worry about ever fucking happen.
No, I'm telling you stuff. It never happened. You wouldn't think it's gonna happen.
Bro, I actually have to the point where this is like I'm relating to being I'm telling you, bro, you're gonna be all right. And anybody else out there saying you're gonna be all right. You're gonna be all right. Yeah. If you just trust it, you just feel right. But dude, I remember my mom went through breast cancer twice. Kicked its ass. But I saw that, right? I thought I had breast cancer, which is not. I mean, I'm very smart. But I convinced the doctor to do a biopsy on the muscle because I feel a lump. Right? No, it's not. Whatever. But, you know, I'm so wrapped up in the thought of, right? That I'm just like, I saw some other one told me, oh my God, this is great. I told all kinds of stories to myself, right? Yeah. So, you know, be careful who you listen to.
Yeah, it could be you. It could be yourself. Yeah, you're lying to yourself. You're telling yourself it's gonna be that bad. It's really not gonna be that bad.
The premise too is on that fear thing, man. Is, you know, as we ask ourselves this question. I read this book called The Untethered Soul, in which
I heard about this. I gotta check that out.
Great book. A friend of mine gave it to me. Picked it up later on. Actually, picked it up because my wife mentioned it. She was like, I heard about this book called The Untethered Soul. And I was like, oh shit, I think I have that in my desk. Went in here, got it, and then got into it. And the book starts off with, you ever notice that if you're in a car with yourself, right? And then I always start painting a picture. I'm in the car driving from the grocery store, and it goes, you start having a conversation with yourself. Like, you'll ask yourself a question, one voice, and then another voice answers. Oh, motherfucker, you talking to yourself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, those voices sounds like some beautiful mind Russell Crowe type shit. But those are the voices, which I think that's partially what that movie was about. Those voices are the voices that you really need to get that shit under control. Goggins always says that. Shout out to Goggins. What was it he just did? The
4x40, I think. Yeah.
Shit,
Can make that happen with baseball.
I saw. Yeah, Mark said, "You want to do it?" I said,
"Yes, sir. I think you got something to do."
He said, Mark said, he looked at me and said, "Yeah, you think you want to do it?" I did this.
Yeah.
No, I'm gonna get back into it just differently. Seriously. But no, seriously though, you gotta watch. You really gotta be careful of that stuff.
What was you was about to say something about Goggins in the 4x48 that he did.
I saw a photo of him on. It was just everybody that was there. Like, you know, he did the world tour 4x48, right? And he was taking photos with stuff. And I saw the dude's torso. I was like, man, he is fucking massive, bro. Like, holy shit, man. What would you do? You talk about fear. Suppose would you bet yourself, like, if they let you out in the jungle, right? And you got to get to a finish line. This is like some Ice-T shit. But Goggins is hunting you down. Would you bet against yourself? Like, you think you get to the finish line?
How long I got? What? How far I got to go? How far I got to go? Miles?
Yeah.
Oh, no,
it's like a 100-mile trail.
No, it's probably.
And you got to survive.
It's a wrap. I mean, I'm gonna fight to the death.
Would you be scared?
Hell yeah, I'd be scared.
You'd be scared of Goggins?
Yeah. I think, again, to building the stories up, you hear these things, Navy SEAL, overseas, jumping out of airplanes at nighttime. You know what I mean? You build those stories up in your head. So I think I probably would be. I'd be probably pretty scared.
Here's another thing, though.
It's okay, though.
Yeah, I mean, here's another thing about be careful of who you listen to and stuff. Fear, obviously, has been weaponized recently, right? Mm-hmm. And I think that's another thing that really fucks us up. Like, the fact that you don't check in with yourself and trust yourself, and you let this fear from these external sources kind of like program you, is another thing that I think is crazy, because like we just came out of this crazy shit for the past 2 years, right? And there's some cats right now that are refusing to take a mask off, which, if that's what you want to do. But I think, listen, man, call it what you want. Call it respect for others. Call it doing your civil duty, doing your civil part. Call it I'm listening to the president. You're fucking scared. You are fucking scared, right? And you need to get over the fucking fear.
Yeah, man.
You know, you can't let people weaponize, or anything for that matter, weaponize you to do shit. And they've been doing this shit forever, man. They do the shit.
Fear sells, man. That's why you see all the stuff on your algorithms on social media. They put things in front of you that they know are going to draw those kind of emotions out of you, man, because they know it keeps your attention. It keeps you engaged. It sells. You know what I mean? The more money, how much money can we make?
The fucking news does this shit all the time. I was watching these two fucking dweebs on TV the other day. These wannabe news announcers, right? The dude, I don't know, he fucking looked like something out of the fucking 50s with the slick back and the, like, but he, new tonight at 7. Gunshots heard in the neighborhood. And then tomorrow, we're going to talk about how Miss Mary got robbed. Like, motherfucker, like, shut
That's all you see.
Like, I get it, bro. Like, that's what's paying your fucking bills, right? And you get to see yourself on TV. You go to the fucking bar. A fucking chick sees you. You get noticed. You ain't doing this shit for the greater good. Sit the fuck down, man. Stop doing this shit to people. That's the drug. That's really the drug.
It's addicting. It's addicting. People watch it. They
scare the shit out of people.
They can't turn away from it, because all you see on the news is bad shit. You hear a good story every now and then, but you hear a lot of bad stuff.
Brother, there's this fucking, and I don't know what people, like, we're in a situation right now where kids are going back to school, and parents, obviously we've seen we've seen studies of the fact that what we just came through doesn't really affect their age, right? Younger kids, 10 under, but you got parents, man, still sending their kids with this stuff over their mouth, and these young kids are seeing this shit. They've already dealt with the shit for 2 years. So at the end of the day, that shit is being programmed and ingrained into their minds. It's like that fear factor, bro. Like, so what are you scared of? I go back to what my psychologist said, right? What are you scared of? If you die, then what? I don't really have an answer to that. I'll get back to you. Right?
You program yourself, man. You program your kids. Your kids see, they act what they see. You know what I mean? Like, if you program your kids to be fearful, they're gonna be like that. My kids the same way. And they don't wear masks anymore in school. When they got first introduced, you didn't have to wear a mask anymore. My kids still wanted to wear masks. They were programmed for the past 2 years. You have to wear masks, right? Every day. So it's a programming thing. You can deprogram yourself. Certain things are a little bit tougher than others. It'll take a little more time. But
it's just, once again, it's just like, you got to be careful on the shit that's coming to you, man. All that subliminal shit, man. You know what I mean? It's just weaponizing. It's just weaponizing from another perspective on us, on you. And you want to know what's really paralyzing you from achieving those goals? That's what it is, man. You ain't,
just fucking go. Just go.
It's going to be fucking hard, man. You got to have those fucking scars for that conversation. Oh, shit, how did you get that gash around your chest? Well, shit, I fucking battled a bear and I kicked his ass. Damn, that's a conversation right there. You know what I'm saying? Shit, we got a friend of ours. He's getting ready to do a race. He's going to be fucked up. Like, I got bets against it, right? But you know what? That's good conversation. Well, I tried to do this shit. I died, but you know what I'm saying? Come on, man. Like,
just go. What's the worst that can happen?
So
you'll heal up.
Either that or the hill will heal you up. And then after it's done, whether it's, whatever happened, nobody can take that from you. And a lot of times it's probably not the shit that you fabricated in your head.
Absolutely. You'll gain something out of it. It's going to hurt, but you're going to gain something out of it.
What we take away from this stuff, man?
Just fucking go. Just go. Don't be scared. Just go.
You got to direct the shit to Brendan, actually.
Brendan, just go, bro. Don't be scared, man. Trust me. Listen to me. After 42 years of living, after 40-something years of Mike living.
Yeah, this motherfucker said 40-something years. You want to embarrass me?
No, I don't know. I'm just saying, but just go.
Nobody knows.
Just go, cuz.
My daughter said, Daddy, you going to live to 100? Yes, Mama. Shut up.
Oh, man.
This was a good episode. We got to tell people, don't forget, they got to follow us on social. And then markbrown.com.
Markbrown.com. You got to check it out. We got some blogs coming, some stories coming. It's going to be an interesting little site.
Yeah, so until then, don't be scared, everybody.
Fucking go.
We'll see you later. Bye.